Second Grade presents The Leader in Me Chapter 4, Aligning for Success. Chapter 4 begins with a quote that pretty much sums up the entire chapter. Far and away the biggest mistake that managers make is ignoring the crucial importance of alignment. We have all spent so much creativity, passion, caring, and research hours in how to create a great school or classroom. But as Mr. Covey points out, jumping into creating a leadership theme with the students is like planting a seed without preparing the soil. You could have done it, but the results would not have been the same. Prep work has to be done in order to do things right. This is where alignment comes into play.
The author describes a school that is struggling with leadership as a bunch of randomly aimed arrows. Some were successful, others not so much. But the problem is that none of them work together towards a common goal. There is no clarity in the process. So you have to start with a big arrow, which is the mission, vision, and strategy of the school. Then align the mid-sized arrows to fit. These would include bringing people on board with the new theme, aligning the school structure to match the strategy, training the staff in the 7 habits, and aligning the reward system so the right outcomes would be reinforced and sustained. Finally, the small arrows need to be adjusted or outright removed before you are ready to implement.
Bringing people on board. The most important and often the most difficult form of alignment is bringing people on board. There was a quote here that we loved. All on board beats all are board any day. The teachers must have more than an owner's manual. We must have ownership. The author then goes into detail about how at this school, the first year of implementation was only in a pilot classroom on each grade level. This was because there were some teachers dead set against changing the process. However, the increase in test scores, the decrease of student issues, and overall improvement of student confidence and self-esteem were just too great to ignore. We thought that a good point was made here. Every student deserves this.
A part of this chapter that was noteworthy is that along with the staff needing to take ownership is that the parents were just as vital. The author points out that this was the easiest change as parents like to hear their child is doing well and they talk to other parents about the program. From there, community and business leaders joined in the support and those mid-sized arrows started to become aligned.
Aligning who will do what. Mr. Covey points out that the organizational chart at the model school looks just like every other school with one important change. Every title has the word leader attached to it and the accountability that goes along. For example, at the administrative level, there is a leader of student counseling and the leader of media. The custodian is even the leader of keeping the school clean. Kitchen staff members are leaders of nutrition. Teachers are leaders of their classroom, and the grade chair is the leader of that level. Specialist teachers will be the leaders of art, music, or PE. It's not that the position has changed. It's just the wording has changed. The person knows they're expected to live up to that title. They're going to be held accountable as leaders.
Where the leadership structure begins to differ from a typical school is when it comes to the students. Each and every student should be a leader of something. Public speaking, sports, music. Each child should have an area where they excel or want to become better. Within the classroom, there can be leaders of greeter, timekeeper, cleanliness, and librarian. But the author points out that true leadership for the students extends beyond this. There should be roles for students to take leadership outside of the classroom as well. They can apply for these positions. For example, the book mentions students helping to plan a school event or the morning news. They can be peer leaders, for example, a second grader helping a kindergarten with behavior or academics. There can be community efforts such as canned food drives and working with charities. It is noted that the kids should be the leaders here with an adult mentor, not the teachers or parents doing all the work. Some student leaders met with the principal for a monthly chat session to improve the school. Page 77 gives a more detailed list of jobs students could apply for. But the most interesting leadership role was that the students were actually involved in the hiring process. The student leaders would be given a chance to interview a narrowed down list of applicants, and they were often much harsher than the adults.
Getting people trained. A major alignment issue was getting people trained. It was important to note that all staff, not just the teachers, had to be trained so that everyone was on board. The book details about a 3-day training, not about how to implement it in the students' lives, but how to implement the 7 habits in the adults' lives. The logic was that it would be difficult for the adults to expect the students to apply the 7 habits if they didn't apply them too. Many left saying that their lives were changed, and even years later, their group had a feeling of unity. The author notes that the best way to teach the 7 habits is through modeling. Celebrating successes. No one ever seems to be entirely happy with whatever reward system is in place. The book details using rubrics, special lunches, connecting the 7 habits with PE goals, leaders of the week, regular award ceremonies. But the basic reward is that the students need to know that we love them, appreciate them, and that we believe in them. When problems do happen, teachers need to handle it proactively or non-emotionally, and they need to model using the 7 habits to find a way around the problem. Aligned for success. The last section sums up the overall message of the chapter, that we can't just say, go do it, but we must have a plan in place and get all of our arrows going the same way if we want the system to succeed. It will be a continual work in progress, but it is worth the effort.
Everything is awesome.